Also, stay tuned. There's going to be a giveaway here, a mystery item that we're going to unveil.
Mystery item.
Stay till the end of the video.
Looks heavy, man.
Shush. Okay, Ilya, start us off. What's this Parshah?
It seems to be talking about Joseph and his punishment.
What's the name of the Parshah?
VaYeishev.
Parshas VaYeishev, yeah?
Uh-huh.
So how do we start?
So it talks about Joseph's punishment, and the reasons why he got punished is because he was the one who was actually noticing all the negative things about his brothers and what they've been doing. I believe it was last Parshah we were saying that you notice the things, or should I say, the things that bother us the most, we notice because it's within us.
The thing we notice in others,
Right.
is something we have inside. There's, I forgot who said it. I don't know if it was Baal Shem Tov or if it was maybe, I don't want to say for sure who. There was one of the Hasidic Rebbe's said that when you look at another person and you see a flaw, it's like a mirror. It's just showing you what you need to fix in yourself.
Right. It bothers you so much because it's within you.
Right. Because people love themselves, they don't see their own flaws. So Hashem makes it that they see it in other people, so they have the opportunity to fix themselves.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's the Parsha starts off. We're going to get to Yosef in a second. Parsha actually starts off. First of all, we didn't welcome the people.
Oh, of course.
Hello, hello everybody.
Welcome. Please subscribe.
right off the bat, subscribe, like the video. By the way, it makes a really big difference when you actually like. I've heard from a few YouTubers. I haven't looked this up, but I guess I know what they're talking about. When you give a like, that's like the number one metric that, you know, the more likes, the more they push out the video. So it helps us a lot. Also, stay tuned. There's going to be a giveaway here, a mystery item that we're going to unveil.
Ooh, a mystery item.
Stay till the end of the video.
Looks heavy, man.
Shush. Like this. So the first thing goes on, it says, VaYeishev Yaakov settled, right? He settled down. Where? Be'eretz Mugurei Avav, in the land where his father lived. Be'eretz Canaan, in the land of Canaan. And then it says, Eila told us Yaakov. These are the children of Yaakov. Who is that? And then who does it say? Yosef. So there's a lot of different things that it talks about. Just so, like a wealth of different things about what this really means. What is Megurei Avav mean? Why does it say Yosef? It says, right, it should say all his children. Why does it say Yosef? And the main reason they say why it's Yosef is because Yosef, everything that happened to Yaakov also happened to Yosef. There's like 10 things that are listed. His brothers hated him, and he wanted to kill him, and he left his house when he was young. Like 10 things that are listed. But the Maggid says something very interesting. That this is talking about in general, the way a tzaddik is. Right? Yaakov represents the tzaddik. And VaYeishev sometimes it means to stay, to be held back. When a neshama is in this world, it's being held in this world. It's not really its place, right? Really, its place is on high. We know really that being here, the ultimate purpose of us being here is to refine the world. More than even being in Olam Haba, right? To make this place a dwelling place for God. But it's still a place that's foreign to the soul. So the tzaddik is in here, it's VaYeishev. He's being held over here. Like it says, Al Karcha Chatachai, right? When we're living here, it's against our will, really. The neshama wants to be close to God. But Aretz, what does it mean in the land? The land represents this world, which is the physicality. The tzaddik stays here in this world. Megurei Aviv, the word Megurei could be living, but also could also mean like Vayagar Moav. Moav was afraid.
Okay.
Right? He had, even when he was in this world, he always had Yiras Shamayim. He always had the fear of God. He never strayed. And it says even more so, Be'eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan, and Canaan in those days there were a lot of idol worshippers, a lot of wicked people. It said even when he was amongst all the other nations and they were all wicked, still he was there. He had Yiras Shamayim. And why? What's the whole purpose of a tzaddik being in this world? Eile told us Yaakov Yosef. The offspring of Yaakov, the tzaddik is Yosef, is adding. Yosef means adding. In In other words, that the whole tzaddik's whole essence of being in this world is just to add in his offspring, which is what? A tzaddik's offspring. We see this many times in Chazal and in Torah, that the offspring of a tzaddik is his good deeds, is his Torah, his mitzvahs. So the whole point of a Jew being here and living here in Shemaim is what? To do a good deed, to learn Torah. Oh, so here's something interesting from the Chayza of Lublin. He has on these few psukim actually a very, very, very nice. So he says, in the same pasuk it says Yaakov and Megure. So Yaakov, why did Yaakov get his name Yaakov? One we say because of the heel, but also Esav said, because he tricked.
Okay.
He tricked Esav, right?
Okay.
And Megure, we just said before, means fear of heaven.
Okay.
So he's saying that in order to have fear of heaven, in order to beat the Yitzhar, you have to be very, very sly. You have to always be a step ahead of him, because he's very, very sly. He always tries to trick, so you have to be a step ahead of him in order to always remain in your Shemaim and to not do the wrong thing and to stay away from sin. You have to always come up with plots to.
So you always have to be one step ahead of your Yetzirah.
Yeah, you can't like, oh yeah, tomorrow I'll get up. No. If you just plan to get up, you're probably not going to get up. It's going to be cold. You're going to come. You have to plan. You have to get someone to pour water on your head. No, I'm just kidding. But you have to put things in place and really, really make an effort so that you don't, you
have to bargain with him at all times. There's always a give and take.
Or you could just, as Alter Rebbe says, you push him away with two hands. You say, quiet. No. Lahavdil, there's this thing, Kobe Bryant, I'm a very, very big fan of his work ethic. Okay. Kobe Bryant, he says that when he makes a plan, there's no negotiating. It's already set in place. He says, we were going to get up at 5. He starts going, maybe if we, but if only, and he's like, nope. It's the plan's already there. There's no negotiating. And I think that that's the work ethic a person has to have when it comes to, in service of Hashem, and it's Hashem, that there's no such thing as, well, maybe, I'll get up an hour later or whatever. No. You just shut him off. You say, sorry, bro.
The moment you said, well, is the moment you lost. Well, get up and go. Well.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this is something very, very interesting. Also from the Chayza, he says that Yosef, it says he was ben Shva Esrei Shana. And he says that actually shows on two separate things that he accomplished, even at 17 years old. The 7 represents the 6 midos and malchus, right? So the 7 attributes that are not intellect, just the emotional attributes, right? And it says he already had fixed those. He already had, completed them. He worked on himself where he had that. And then right after 7 comes 10. Shva Esrei, 17. The way you say it in Hebrew is 7 and then 10.
Okay.
It says 10. Not only did he fix his midas, his emotional attributes, but he also did his chabad, his chachma midas, his intellect. And so he basically had already reached the point of completion, obviously at a certain level, at 17.
Wow.
It says he actually, I read in the Miyam Loyez, it says he left yeshiva already at 17, which means he kind of, reached what he had to in yeshiva.
So how come whenever we say, may you be like Yosef?
Yeah.
Because Yosef was in Egypt.
Yeah.
He was surrounded by all this negativity and filth, yet he never lost his way, correct?
Though that's supporting that.
Right. What about Dina's daughter?
Asnas.
She was also in Egypt. She was also surrounded by filth. But yet she stayed true and she stayed snooed and everything. So why don't we ever bring her up?
That's a good.
Understand what I mean? She deserves credit.
I feel like there's like a feminist nerve.
No,
I'm just
but
kidding.
there's an answer. But there's an answer.
I'm just kidding. What's the answer?
The answer is she was given a kameya by her grandfather.
So it didn't come from her own work.
So it didn't come from her own efforts.
It was protection.
Though her efforts are needed, but she had a boost. She had help.
Yeah. So Yosef came from his own.
Have help because his father thought he was dead.
Wow.
Everybody around thought he was dead. He had no help except for Hashem.
So it came from his. Wow. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So it's better. This is a very consistent idea you see in Chassidus. that there's two types of ways to get close to God. Milmala lamata, when God brings you close, and milmata lamala, when you initiate the closeness. And even though, because a human being is finite, no matter what his effort is, he'll never come close to the level that he'll come to if God is the one who initiates. However, it's more precious and it's actually means more when a person does it on his own because it comes from his own effort. Yes. So this actually supports that. Wow. Very, very nice.
But also, don't forget, she becomes Yosef's wife. In Shamayim, if she's not worthy, she couldn't become his wife.
It's not really putting her down. It's more saying, why is Yosef single?
No. I'm saying if she wasn't worthy, she wouldn't be his wife.
Right.
That means she was spiritually already on a high level in order for her to become Yosef's wife.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, there's something else from the Chayzah now. The third thing from the Chayzah. Told us Yaakov. So it says there's two types of learning Torah. A person can learn Torah in a way of Yaakov, which over here he says Yaakov means learning Torah in the way of Yaakov is that you're learning Torah, but you're not doing it with the passion and the fervor and the attachedness to God. You're learning, but it's not with a level of love to God that is, that would be preferred, that's appropriate.
Okay.
And so and then Yosef is talking about a level of Torah, which when a person learns like that's when he is learning with love and with fear and with emotions, and he puts his whole self into it.
So
what it's
Yaakov
saying,
didn't learn it with love?
No, that's not what it's saying. These are, Yaakov and Yosef here are representations of those two types of learning Torah. And I can imagine the reason why Yaakov is because Yaakov comes from the word heel, and heel is the part of the body which feels the least. But I didn't see that inside. But what it says is that a person shouldn't worry. Eila told us Yaakov, the outcome of someone who learns Yaakov will be that the light of Torah is so strong that even if he begins learning Torah without that level, he'll come to Yosef. The Tolda of Yaakov, the offspring, the outcome of learning Torah, no matter how you learn it, will be that in the end will be Yosef. You'll also learn it in the highest level possible. So this is a lesson and a guide for people that don't worry about how you're learning Torah. Just learn, and eventually you'll get there. It says actually that both Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Avram, we know Avram went and made many converts. In those days, converts, what did it mean to Judaism? It meant to believe in God.
Right.
Converting
to believe
meant
in one God.
Right. To believe in one true God. Meaning that before people who were serving idols, you made them gerim. But so it actually says that Megure Aviv. It's one of the ways you can translate Megure is from Giur, from a ger. To convert. So it said that it actually shows that Yaakov also was Megayer people. He also made converts. He also brought people close to God, to realizing there's one God. And it says Aviv, his father, which means Yitzchak did too. So we see from here that not only Abraham did, but Yitzchak and Yaakov did as well.
Okay.
They made it a point to help people realize that there's only one God and to stop serving idols. Okay, so here's something from the Rebbe. I really, really like it. As if it matters if I like it or not.
Okay.
But it says,
definitely caught your attention, so go for it.
So the Maggid says that, also another thing from the Maggid, that Yaakov he was be'artzos, he was in the land, right? He was in the physicality, in the seemingly, which is not godly. Why? Lagar nitzutzos. So here it says another way you see how many ways there are to translate Megure, to collect. To extract. So he wanted to bring out the hidden sparks. We know, right, that there's hidden sparks everywhere, and we're supposed to extract them. Actually, that's what it says about when you said about Dinah, that she extracted a spark. It actually says that there was a certain very big rabbi his soul was connected to Shechem and Chamar, and he had the whole anyway. So, but that's going off track. So basically, the Maggid says that Yaakov was elevating sparks, right? And what was the reason? What's Megure? To gather the sparks of his father. What does it mean? His father for Hashem. In other words, he was doing that for God. And Be'eretz Canaan, it says in the land of Canaan, that one of the ways to translate Canaan is like I don't know which language this is in, maybe Aramaic, but I'm not sure. Is like a merchant, right? A merchant will go and he'll invest, and he'll even potentially in the beginning lose money in order to gain more money, right?
Okay.
In order to make money, you have to give money, right?
Strategic investment.
Right,
Okay.
but in the beginning, so you say Yaakov was dealing with this world, which seemingly is a loss, in order what? To elevate the sparks. And
wow.
and what the Rebbe learns from this is, if you see how Yaakov was dealing with the mundane, from here we see that a person should go and not only try to accomplish big things. Sometimes people, they want to accomplish big things and they leave the little things on the side. And they don't, I'm translating this in a way in my life. They don't look at the person next to them and try to help them. They try to, make a movement. They try to, make an event
something
with
drastic.
Yeah,
right.
something huge, and they neglect the small. And what we learn from Yaakov is that no, in the small things, that's sometimes where you have the greatest elevations. And also, when it comes to that, if you don't go after big things, you're not feeding into your ego, and so you're not going to have any ulterior motives. You're only going to do it for God. And that's what we say. Yaakov, when he was elevating sparks, it was only for God. Megurei Aviv, only for Hashem, no other reason.
So he always had L'Shem Shamayim. Always in his mind.
Yes.
Everything
exactly.
he ever did.
Okay, so now we come to the story of Yosef, right? That you mentioned earlier. Okay, so we say that Yosef, there was a few things that, relatively he got punished, right, for his level. So one of the things he would do is he was very, very good looking. And he would go and he would, fix his hair. He would make himself look even nicer. And so because of that, he was punished. Also, it says that it's very interesting because you don't think of the Yetzer Hara this way, but in Ma'am Lezer was saying that a person who does this, a person who makes himself look nice, it's like it shows that he's vain, and it shows that he's calling attention to himself. And so the Yetzer Hara is like, oh, this person is someone I can easily make sin. Which is very interesting because it's like saying like this shows the Yetzer Hara a character. But that's what it says. It's kind of like it primes him for sin, so to speak, which is.
Okay, but Yosef is an epitome of what it means to be modest.
So he, of course, he was a very God-fearing person. We're gonna get Shabbos. But he was a very God-fearing person. He was a tzaddik. He's a tzaddik, but again, at a certain level, this was beneath him, I guess. And we all like to look good. At least we want to look presentable, But he would make his eyes nice, and I think it probably means just like his eyelashes, or whatever. But I'm not trying to focus on his, the sin part. There's a story that it brings. That Shimon HaTzadik saw somebody. He was an extremely good-looking young man, very, very good-looking, but his hair. It says taltalim in the Amlays, I think, which means like dreadlocks. It was just, like his hair was absolutely unkempt. And he says, you have such a beautiful face. Why do you not take care of your hair? At least just, comb it, just make it that it's not bare basics. So he says, let me explain to you. I think he was He wasn't a Nazir, but he became a Nazir for a reason. I think he was a shepherd. I might be saying this wrong. At one point he came to the water and he saw his reflection and he saw how beautiful he was, and he started to, his Yetzer Hara started to talk to him and, give him thoughts to do Averis. And he knows that at that moment he said, no way, I'm gonna leave my hair, I'm gonna become a Nazir.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna touch it.
So he fought it.
Yeah, so he was saying no, like he totally pushed away sin. And Shimon, I don't know if it says he kissed him but he was so happy to hear this. He said, "Wow, lucky are you! All the Jews should be like you." He praised him to the high heavens. He was so impressed. And Shimon HaTzadik never ate from the carbon of a Nazir. He never wanted to have any pleasure, any hana, any benefit from the carbon of a Nazir. And there is talk about why a Nazir is not necessarily the best thing. A Nazir seemingly is someone who moves away from the mundane, which is a good thing. But there's also it could be some negative aspects to why a person would even need to become a Nazir. I don't know if that's the reason, but it says in general he wouldn't eat from the carbon of a Nazir. But when he brought his carbon as a Nazir, he ate from it because of how great he was. So he made it. It was such just to see how. Again, on our own level, but it's a lesson for us how we have to distance ourselves from coming, to sin. Yeah. Now, something he says very interesting. One of the things he brought to it says he would tell his father not good things about their brothers. So one of the things he said was they would eat Aver Menachai. They would eat from the animal before it died.
Before it died, right.
So
Before it was slaughtered.
yeah, so one of the things, there's many things why what they were doing actually was not an Avera, was actually okay what they were doing. One of the reasons it said is because they already shechted it, and once they shechted it, they took off a piece of the animal while it was still maybe kicking around, but they only ate it after the animal actually passed away. Only after the animal actually totally lost its, the soul. It's.
I heard a different version.
No. So there's one that says that the animal, there was a baby inside
Okay.
and then you don't have to shecht it, right?
Right.
Because it's considered part of the mother.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
So that's the main.
But that animal has to be slaughtered within that same year.
It has to be eaten within the same year. Yeah.
Right. So, in other words, you could kill that animal. You don't have to shecht it.
Yeah.
You could even take a rock and hit him upside his head.
But within a year.
Within a year. Anything
Yeah.
beyond that, you have to shecht him.
No, but here he's saying something else. He's saying it because they already shechted it, therefore they were able to take a piece off. You wait until you eat it, and then okay. Now, something he says very interesting is that for Jewish people, you're allowed to do this, but for non-Jews, you have to wait until the animal dies, because the non-Jews are also not allowed to eat Aver Menachai. They're also not allowed to eat a piece of meat before the animal dies. But they have to wait until the animal dies entirely, and then they can only cut off a pice. So the question is why? How could it be that something which is okay for Jews is not okay for non-Jews? We have more strict, in general, we have the higher restrictions. So the answer is very interesting. He says that because the non-Jews don't have shechita. They don't have to slaughter the animal.
Right.
They don't have a specification. You just have to kill the animal. So therefore, the only metric they have between alive and dead is death.
Dead, right.
But Jews have shechita. So we have something which we very specific way that we have to slaughter the animal. So therefore, once it's slaughtered, that's the difference between life and death.
Right.
So it's the same for Jews and non-Jews. It's life and death. But there's nothing that categorizes death for non-Jews the way it does for Jews.
We have different specifications.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
are more
It's
specific.
very interesting. It's a technicality.
Uh-huh.
And the last thing I want to talk about is just something we mentioned, and then I guess we can just talk because this is a little bit short. And we were going to talk about the giveaway, but
Okay.
so the story of Yehuda and Tamar. So you know that Yehuda's two sons, what they were doing, Hashem wasn't happy, and they both died. Hashem took their life, and then Yehuda went and he was with, supposedly, it seems there's a lot of things that Yehuda did which were not okay, right? He went and he thought that she was, a Zaina. He thought she was a woman, that wasn't pure.
Right.
But if you actually look into all Midrashim, it shows that Yehuda actually, number one, Hashem gave him a very strong desire to be with her, and that was for a very important reason. But when you look at it, really, what Yehuda did, even though she was, married to both his sons, and she was gonna, marry eventually the third son, all these things, if you look at it, it explains why really he didn't do an Avera, he didn't sin. But the whole question is, why did this have to happen to begin with? And we mentioned this in another Parshah thing, is because who comes from Yehuda? Mashiach, David HaMelech. And the Satan is always trying to prevent these unions from happening. So what Hashem does, you see it many, many times, Lot and his daughters, you have Yehuda and Tamar,
Ruth.
Ruth, Samoyavia, and then David HaMelech himself, it was shrouded in mystery, and then David and Bathsheba. The reason why it had to seemingly be shrouded and look like it was in purity, even though it was all pure, was so that there would be no thought that this is going to be the source of Mashiach, and so that no one would try, none of the forces of evil would try to stop it from happening, would try to even meddle, and so that's the reason why. I just find it to be fascinating that we see that there's a reason for why all these things happen.
Everything has a reason, and everything Hashem does for a reason.
Exactly.
And He does for our own good.
100%.
How are you, man? How's it going?
Are you camera shy?
What?
Are you camera shy?
Never.
Okay, let's do the giveaway. We're just wrapping up a video. Tell the guys tell everyone to subscribe.
Subscribe now.
Subscribe now. Like and subscribe.
Amazing. Okay, here we go. So, what we're doing a giveaway in honor of Chanukah. We just hit 100 subs not too long ago.
That's right.
And that's awesome. So, only 144 of these were made this year. from an awesome company called J.L. Lawson. It's a brass dreidel. It feels so nice in the hand, and I'm giving one away to one of you lucky people. Just make sure you subscribe and comment at the bottom of this video so I know who you are. I can't always see my subscribers. Some people are public, some people are not. So I won't know you subscribed, even if you do, unless you comment below and say you subscribed. So please do that. Thank you. I wish you hatzlacha and have a good Shabbos. Like and subscribe.
That's right. Like and subscribe. Leave a like. Make sure you do. And we know if you're subscribing or not.
Mwah, good Shabbos. Shabbos, happy Chanukah.
Good Shabbos and happy Hanukkah.
All right. Very good. I like.